Today's talk is on how to establish a career in data science, and our speaker is Miss Shailja Mishra. She did her BTech in computer science. She has worked as a data engineer in the past, and she is currently working as a data and applied scientist at Microsoft. She is currently also contributing as a consultant and a tutor in Nyberman team. With this short introduction, I will hand it over to Shailja. Shailja, we are all eager to know more about your career journey and your advice on building a career in data science. You can take it away.
Sure, Snehal. Thank you. Thank you for the quick introduction. So, hi everyone. I am Shailja Mishra, like Snehal has already mentioned. And a quick intro about me. So, I'm currently working as a data and applied scientist at Microsoft. Before this, I was working as a data engineer at Fractal. So, I have been into this data domain for more than 3 years now. And maybe today I can give you all a very brief walkthrough about how can we make a career in data science. So, let me talk a bit about my journey, like how I stepped into data science and why I chose data science as a career. So in my college days, I was also not very familiar with what stream should I go on or which career path should I choose or which career path interests me the most. But then one of my life turning point was one of my mentor who guided me into data science domain and made me aware about what data science is, what are the skill sets required and what this field is. And now no one is left who doesn't know that what kind of field this is and how much is this field emerging day by day. So yeah, that was the point I started my journey into data science, and here we are, and I have not looked back after that. So I started working as a data engineer. So initially my work was around creating pipelines and less of, I would say, data science work, but yeah, understanding what data domain is, how a company is working to get the data, and what IT industry is flourishing in terms of data domain. And later, when I thought that I have now acquired minimum skill sets which are required to understand data domain, then since my interest was in data science, and so now I've stepped into as a complete data scientist here at Microsoft. So here my work revolves around creating, we can talk about that later, basically like what data science is. But yeah, currently I'm working as a data scientist. So before I would start like how we can make a career in data science, one thing that I wanted to specifically specify is many people have this question is why data science? Like why do we choose data science as one of the career aspects rather than any other thing? So I just gathered a few of the statistics or facts that I thought might help me answer this question. So first thing is LinkedIn in 2017 declared data science as the one of the fastest growing job. And then again in 2018, Glassdoor ranked data scientists as best job in United States. If we talk about average salary, then $1 million is something which is now is currently considered as the average salary of a data scientist. And according to a research, the data science market size is expected to grow from $95.3 billion in 2021 to $322 billion by 2026. So that is the impact of data scientist people or data science, any person who is in data science, that is the impact a person is creating. So yeah, that is what data science field is about. Now let's move towards the direction in which we were basically waiting for, like how do we start a career in data science, what data science is. So if I talk in a very layman terms, what data science is, so data science is the study of data. And what we mean by data is available in every industry, in every field, and there is a humongous amount of data that is available nowadays. So data science person is responsible for getting the data that is, like I said, is available in humongous size. So first task is to get the data. And when I say data, that has to be relevant data. So you have to get the data. You have to then understand what data actually is. Once you understand what kind of data you have, then you process the data to transform that data into a useful information. Data is nothing until we get a useful information out of it. So a data scientist person has to get the data and transform it into that useful information, which a company or a business or a product or anywhere the domains are wide can use that information to predict or to forecast or use it in in any respective manner. So that is what a data science person does. When we talk about how do we make a career in data science, what are the skills which are required to make a data scientist, and all of these things, even before going to the roadmap section, first and foremost thing that I think that any person who wants to make a career in data science is how much interested you are to build a career in data science. Like I already told you, data science is one of the sexiest job. It is a very high paying job. Everyone is talking about data science, but that should not be the prime motivation for you to go ahead and make a career in data science and learn data science. The major the major motivation to go into data science should be that whether or not you feel that you are a data person or not. Do you want to play with the data? Do you know how and what kind of data you're working with? These questions of why, what, and how, this inquisitiveness in you should be the first and foremost thing in terms of skill set, right? We talk about how and what we need to become a data scientist. So first and foremost thing is you should be inquisitive. You should be asking these questions when dealing with any kind of data, that what data it is, what is the business problem, what is the actual outcome that we want, that we are expecting. Before going into machine learning algorithms, any other things, you should be an inquisitive person. And once you think that you are not only going into the data science domain just because it is very hyped, you actually are interested and you understand the depth of what data science is actually creating the impact currently in the society, then you can surely go ahead and start learning the skills which are required. Any person. I'll just give you one example. I have one of my colleague. So he joined my company after 15 years of working in a very different domain, which was not at all related to data science. So which means that it is not the right, there is no right time, there is no right age, or I would say there is no right qualification, which can stop you to enter into data science domain. The day you decide that, okay, you want to make a career in this field or you want to explore this field is very welcoming for anyone. The only basic requirement is you should have those relevant skills which are required to be a data scientist. So we'll talk about the relevant skills, but yeah, one thing is no age barrier, no qualification barrier can stop you to come and make a career in data science. And the example of my colleague, he's like one of the biggest motivation I see, that he pursued a career very, very different from data science for 15 long years. And then one fine day he decides to explore data science field, and now he's doing very well in that domain as well. So nothing can stop you. So coming to the topic that how we are decided on making a career in data science. Okay, please drop your questions. Okay, yeah. So we have passed the first level of, okay, we are interested in data science. We have those skills also that might be like the inquisitiveness that I talked about. We are very much motivated to make a career in data science. But how do we do that? That is the end question. And I've been talking with a lot of people since a long time. And I see that in current industry, there is a lack of awareness of people who want to switch into data science, but are not sure how do we do that. So I will surely talk about that. Before that, one thing just I wanted to clear this out is data science is a domain. I would say data science is a field. Like suppose I can give you a very, very layman example, that when we learn a language, suppose English, we don't learn it just for a particular specific reason that we are learning English so that we can talk in English at that particular event or a particular conversation that we are aiming for. We are learning English to become to become a professional who knows English very well in a like overall perspective. So when you are planning to learn data science, it's not like since you're learning data science, you can only use that as data science, your knowledge of data science into IT or into medicals or into bioinformatics or into automobile, any field. So data science is a very, very broad or a very generic skill set that anyone can acquire. And the skills I'll be talking about and the roadmap I'll be sharing that you should follow these. So that will be very generic. You don't need to be like I am from this field. A lot of people talk about that ma'am, I'm from a different field. So how can I make a career in data science because I don't have much knowledge about data science? So that won't be a problem, because I can give you a few examples of what effect data science person can make. You might have all heard about self-driving cars. It is kind of like the most popular topic that we all are discussing. How is it all working? It's all data science. So from automobile to health, we are talking about the climate change. Every day we wake up in the morning and just we Google out, right? What will be the weather today? Will it be raining in our area or not? And we plan our things accordingly. How is it all happening? It's because of data science. So data science is everywhere. So when you're targeting to make a career in data science, learn data science as a subject, I would say. And then, depending on the field you are interested in, you can surely leverage your data science skills into that particular field and come out with something very good and very like a raw work for the society. I'll not talk more about data science, but yeah, let's talk about how to go into data science as a career path. So there's I would say I have created a roadmap kind of thing that anyone from a different domain, or I'm a computer science graduate, so I talk about from people from computer science, from BTech, and even from a non-technical background. If someone wants to make a career in data science, the first and foremost requirement in terms of skill set is first is statistics and mathematics. These terms sound very heavy, specifically the people who come from a different domain. And maybe a few people can just leave that thinking, oh, we don't know math and we don't know statistics. So we should go ahead. We can't go ahead for that. No. See, when I say you have to understand statistics, you have to have a very basic understanding of statistics. Like I'll give you an example of, we have a concept called mean, median, and mode. So I'll not talk about the statistics and maths here. But when we say we have to understand what, since we'll get the data, but looking at the raw data, we cannot identify what is actually the good information which is hidden behind the data. And in order to get that information from the data, we have to use mathematics and statistics. We have to know what kind of distribution, we have to understand what mean, median, mode is. And there are various other topics as well. But yeah, the first and foremost understanding that you need to have, not at very advanced level initially, but yeah, at least basic to medium level of understanding of statistics and mathematics is first thing that is expected anyhow from a data scientist. So that is the first thing. Second thing is your understanding of any one programming language. And I've been reading a lot of articles related to this thing, and there is a research which says that out of all the languages, Python is one of the most preferred languages for data people. So when you are learning a new language, you should focus on Python because that makes your work easier as a data scientist. So after mathematics and statistics, the second important skill set that one should have in order to make a career in data science is Python as a language. You have to understand what Python is. You have to have an understanding of how can you leverage your programming skills to get the data, to transform it, and to apply a lot of things that a data science person does. So second thing is your understanding of a programming language. Third is data visualization. See, there is a different job role that says data analyst as it's a different job role, but I will not talk about that. But I can give you a very layman example here as well. That why do you need to have a good understanding of data visualization? There are two people who want to showcase their data to any XYZ person who is not a technical person, but he understands the business problem very well. So I'll come and I'll show you a data. Suppose I'll show you an Excel sheet, which contains rows and columns of very large, huge size of data, right? And there is another person who has the same data, but rather than showing that rows and columns in that Excel sheet, that person comes and shows a very good pictorial representation of graphs, and there are pie charts and all of these things. So as a third person, which would be better? For sure, the person who is representing it using visualization tools rather than the person who is showing something. I'll just come in, I'll show you a Python code, you'll not understand that. But if a second person comes and shows you a graph or a chart using that is developed using any of the tools, the understanding will be better. So that is why, because currently in the market, you are dealing with big data. We are not dealing with KBs or small MBs of data. We are dealing with petabytes of data. That is the amount of data we are dealing with every day. So in order to deal the big data, in order to visualize the data, and in order to predict and forecast things on top of it, you have to have an understanding of data visualization also. So the third important skill set in my list is you have to have an understanding of a visualization tool. That can be Power BI, that can be Tableau, that can be basic, there are Python packages as well. But it's not important what, but what is important that either of these you should have at least understanding of one visualization tool. That is the third thing. Now, fourth thing, that when we say about data science, right, everyone starts to talk about ML. One should know machine learning to become a data scientist. I would slightly disagree with this fact because, like I said, if that would have been the case, I wish I should have mentioned machine learning on the very top skill set, but I did not. The reason is you have to have understanding of statistics and mathematics. You have to have understanding of a programming language. You have to have understanding of a data visualization tool. And once you understand all of these three things, then you have to step into understanding machine learning, deep learning, and there is a big domain regarding that. But do not jump directly to that because there is again a statistic that I want to share with you that a data scientist person, 80% of the time a person is playing with the data. What kind of data it is, how to clean the data, how to work on that data. Only 20% of the remaining time we actually apply machine learning on top of it. So one should go for machine learning once a person has acquired the basic skills which are required for a data science person. And then I can talk about how machine learning, see, there is a very elaborative description I can give you all, but yeah, describing it in a very short way is the fourth skill set in our list is machine learning. You have to have understanding of what supervised algorithms are, what unsupervised algorithms are, what are the top 10 algorithms which we use while we have to process the data and predict something out of it. So depending upon the use case, we can then use which algorithm or which data set type we'll proceed forward with. But yeah, machine learning is the fourth list in our list. Machine learning is the fourth topic. After that, you would have heard a lot about a scripting language called SQL, what we call a structured query language. I'll talk a bit about that as well. See, nowadays, currently the trend is any company or not even if you're not only targeting company or any role, a data science person is expected to have a very good hands-on on SQL as well. And I will not only talk, I'll give you an example as well. See, you have a very big data source, right? And you want to understand the trend. Like suppose you want to understand what are the top 10 products which a company is selling, right? And you have a very big amount of data. So how do we process that? Either we take it in Excel and then we visualize and then we select the top, we just do the descending order and then we select the top 5 and all of this. There is one simple SQL query that you can write to select the top 10 records from a particular data and you'll get it. So it's a very, very layman example, but what I want to suggest here is if one understands SQL right, the job of a data scientist becomes very easier. So that is the reason companies and currently the trend is data scientist person are very, very much expected to know and write SQL. And apart from all the skills that I already told you about, right? If you ask me, and from my perspective, SQL is one of the easiest skill one can get while making his career into data science. And the work always becomes easier when you know SQL. So yeah, in my list, the last point here is SQL. So these are the skill set I talked about that if you want to make a career in data science, these are the top 5 and 6 skills which are expected from you. And once you understand these things, you will understand data science as a domain. That okay, this data science is. But if you talk about me that okay, I understand Shelja, we need to learn all of these things to work on a data science, like to make a career in data science. But what if I want to understand how do we approach a solution question or approach a business problem using data science? I know all of these skills, but I don't know how to implement them. So answering to that question is if someone wants to make a career in data science and okay, I have acquired all of these skills. Now, what will be the trajectory of a problem that I'm facing? The first and foremost thing will be you have to understand business problem. What is the business problem you're dealing with? Like I'll give you an example. There is a company who wants to sell the product and they are thinking of creating one new product. Before that, they want to understand and analyze their customers' demand. That okay, one product, A product is being sold more, B product is sold less. So what are the key features of product A which makes it more valuable in terms of customer and B less? So first of all, you have to understand what is the business problem you're dealing with. And second thing is, what kind of data? I've been talking about data since last long time, but you have to understand what kind of data you're dealing with. So in order to suppose the business problem is about a customer and a product company, so the data will be different. If you're talking about a medical firm, the data will be different. If you're talking about an automobile company, the data will be different. So after understanding the business problem, you have to understand the data as well, like what kind of data we are dealing with. Once we understand these things, right, then we can proceed forward with the skill set that we have, and going forward we can visualize the data, we can apply machine learning on top of it, and then do some kind of predictive analysis. But yeah, if I talk about the path, the approach a data scientist can go forward with to solve any kind of problem is this. I'll just take a quick break here. I've been speaking a lot since a long time. So yeah, we can go for the questions if someone has. I think I kind of given good overview of what data science is.
Yes, thanks for that. I think so. You are already covering few questions that we had collected from our survey before. Like what kind of skills do you need? And you have already enlisted top 5: statistics, mathematics, programming language, data visualization tools, ML, and SQL at the end, and which is probably the easiest skill that they can acquire. So that is quite nice. And so you will be going into that, which is what another participant has asked: how to become a data scientist, and can you give a complete roadmap to becoming a skilled data scientist, which you will be, I think, talking about in short time. Other than that, yes, I think a lot of our participants have this fear of, okay, I'm coming from this background. Can I really do well in data science? I have already done my undergraduate, so can I now shift to data science domain? So, but I think you also talked a bit about it, like a person can shift even after 15 years of working in another domain. So I think our participants should be well assured by now that they for certain have the skills that they need to transit, and they just need to focus on the kind of skills that you have already enlisted, and just get expertise in those skills. So yes, and we will keep on talking further whenever you are ready, Shelja.
Sure. So one thing, Snehal, if I want to answer this question, the fear part I already mentioned, but yeah, if anyone is coming from a different domain, be it a non-technical person, even a technical person who is not a computer science graduate, or who has a work experience in a very different domain, and he want to switch into a career of data science. So the biggest motivation, I have multiple people I can talk about them, but yeah, at the end of the day, if you are focused that I want to make a career in data science, and only focus now will not help you for sure. If we talk about the practicality, the skill sets I already mentioned, that you have to have these understanding of these particular skill sets. So if you think that I'm ready to learn all of these skill sets, even if I am coming from a different domain, even if I have no experience, even if I have so much of experience, anything, if you are ready to learn all of these skills, and if you find them interesting, you can go ahead and learn, then you go and make a few projects and all of these things, then nothing can stop you. There is no blocker, or there is nothing that can stop you because of your background, and specifically educational background, to make a career in data science. So that one last statement would be data science field is very, very welcoming. So don't think that anything can stop you from making a career in data science.
That is very nice to hear. So I guess one more skill that we can add to this list is adaptability and
For sure.
and eagerness to learn new things as and when they come.
Right. Sure. So yeah, and one thing more in terms of the question that I saw from the most people is how to make a career in data science and how to approach for it. So see, the pathway is always different for everyone. It is not something common. I would say if I did that, other person should also do that, and everyone should do the same to make a career in data science. Everyone trajectory is different. Everyone's learning capabilities are different. So yeah, that would differ. But the skills which I talked about, right? If you go and check the requirements of any company, if you're targeting any company, or if you talk about if you want to become an entrepreneur or anything in that domain, the basic, very, very basic expectation will be the skills I mentioned. You already called it out. Thank you for that. But yeah, that is my roadmap. And that is something I have been hearing with a lot of people. I have a very big community of data scientists. So I've been very frequently interacting with them. So this roadmap that I am talking about is something mainly everyone suggests to do go for that. But yeah, one thing that I wanted to call out here is I like I said, everything will not be common for everyone. But if someone wants a very personalized help, I'm surely open for that. We can talk about that later. But yeah, like I said, I told you about my journey, right? My mentor helped me to make a career in data science. So the importance of mentor for a very specific person, like okay, follow this to get this kind of thing, will not be common for everyone. But generically, this is the roadmap that I have for everyone.
Yeah, that's great. I will also look at few more questions that we collected before we started this. So there was also a question about can you give examples of different applications of data
Sure,
science? I
sure.
think you have already covered few, but you can go.
Actually, this is something I can surely talk about, and this is actually one of my most like my most favorite part to talk about. So, see, when we talk about the applications, I will not take you to a very distant place, but I can start with a very small example. We all use Yahoo, Bing, and Google search every day, right? So, how come when we do any kind of search and Google, if you talk about the amount of data, right? According to a research, Google processes petabytes of data every day. And despite of the fact, it creates a personalized search algorithm for everyone. If you are searching something, depending upon your previous searches, it will recommend you something which suits your preferences and your search results. So this internet search is like the very, very common example that everyone of us use every day. That is where data science is hidden. Second thing is recommendation system. Everyone loves using Netflix and all of these things. We watch one movie and next time we open Netflix, we see a lot of recommendation. And that how does that recommendation work? That recommendation is bigger data science. We want to buy anything from Amazon, we search for one product. Next day, what we see is everywhere or on our social media websites and everything, we see ads of that particular thing that we searched anywhere. We're seeing ads for that, and that is very personalized. How is it happening? It is data science. So this is the e-commerce thing I talked about, right? If we go into the medical thing, right? So there is a thing called medical image analysis. Like suppose one person has cancer and the image of suppose lung cancer. So the image of a person, lungs image can be used to collect the data. It's like suppose we can collect the data of 100 patients. And later, if a 101 patient comes, what we can do is we can analyze the image of his lungs and depending and here again data science, we can use the data collected already and predict whether that person has what kind of possibility is that that person is suffering from lung cancer. So in medical, data science is reaching new heights every day. So that is another very good example. Then we have virtual assistants. We have chatbots and all of these things. Everyone uses this. Like we are not talking to any person sitting on that end, but yeah, if we want to get help, any kind of, we get a lot of options for chatbots. Again, data science. And then we have there is one very very good concept. I'm not sure if everyone is aware about. I also got to know about it very recently. There is a thing called Google Duplex. So what is it actually? If someone, I don't have time, suppose, and I have to make an appointment. So I don't have time to go for a call and do the appointment and talk on my own. So what I can do is I can talk to my Google Assistant, then Google Assistant make a call to my doctor and book an appointment. So what will happen is the other person will not even know that it's not you who are talking. Your assistant can go talk to that person and book an appointment for you. So this is something very revolutionary in terms of data science that is happening, virtual assistants. And I already talked about self-driving car. That is the most revolutionary example of data science. You don't need a person there. Using data science, a car can drive automatically on its own. So there are hundreds of examples I can talk about. We all know about IKEA. IKEA is another brand. There is a thing called augmented reality. Like suppose earlier it was a thing that if you want to buy anything, we want to touch and feel and see how it looks. And suppose I want to buy a sofa for my home, and I'll not just go and Google it out because I don't know what that sofa will look like at my house and all of these things. Now, companies like IKEA are using data science to implement augmented reality. What happens is you can upload a picture of your home, and that particular sofa set that you're planning to buy, they will then put that sofa set into your home so that you can visualize, okay, that is how it will look at my home, and you can decide whether you want to buy it or not. We want to buy a new spectacles. We'll just go and upload a picture of our face on Lenscard, and it will show you how will that spectacle look on your face. So these are all the real life examples of data science which we are using every day in a very, I only pick those examples which people can very surely relate with. But my point here is data science is everywhere, from IT to medical, from automobile to e-commerce, everywhere. So the applications are numerous. I can talk about that for hours long, but I think that answers that question.
Yes, I think we all can understand how exciting this field is because it is right at the forefront of all the latest developments that are happening all around us. It could be like image analysis in terms of health data, and I'm sure no one can really enlist all the applications that there are, but you have given us a nice overview of what we can expect. Okay, so then I will look at the other questions that we collected before. Yes, so another question is, which platform is the best for learning data science, whether online or offline?
Right. So on that part as well, see, I would not suggest any specific particular this go to this and you'll learn data science as a whole. Why I'll tell you that, because like I talked about skill set, right? The skill set that I mentioned are itself very different from each other. So, but yeah, I can talk about few of the platforms which mostly data scientists use. There is a platform called Kaggle. So Kaggle is one-stop solution for any data scientist. So where you can go, you can practice. So it is mainly used for practicing. Suppose I don't have data, right? And I'm not working in any company, but then too, I want to learn how a data scientist works. So in order to get data freely available, Kaggle itself has a very rich data sets. You can leverage that data sets, and then you can apply machine learning and all of these things. So that is another usage of Kaggle. So these are, there is one forum called Stack Overflow. I think mostly people know about that. Why do we use Stack Overflow? Is suppose, okay, I'm doing a project, but maybe I'm stuck in between. I'm not sure where to go, and I don't have anyone to help me out there. So Stack Overflow is another forum which is used for by the people to communicate their problems and get help. So these are the few platforms which one can use to practice it out. But yeah, where to learn what, I can surely give a very dedicated roadmap. But yeah, that will be kind of personalized for people. Like suppose if someone is coming from a non-tech background, the roadmap and the things that the person needs to learn will be kind of different from a person who has a bit idea, and who is at least on the easy part level and has to go to the medium level of a data scientist person. So yeah, we can that has to be a dedicated roadmap. But overall, Kaggle, Stack Overflow, a few of the gods of data science per people.
Great, great. So the next question is again, how difficult is this course and how is the job availability immediately after graduation from like a dedicated data science course?
So I would say difficulty. See, I'm a data scientist, so I think I can talk about that very well. The path is not difficult until you're determined to make a career in data science. So, and even it's not only me speaking about that. The researchers have showed that it's easier to learn these skill sets rather than, like, suppose we are targeting for any other role in IT industry. The number of skills which are expected is, it's a very long list. One cannot even fulfill half of this list in terms of requirement. But for data scientists, it's comparatively easier. So maybe that is also one of the reason everyone is now looking for a job in data science domain. and it is becoming one of the most sexiest job in the market. But yeah, answering the first part of the question is, the path is not at all tough if you are determined enough. And second thing is, in terms of job availability, so I don't remember the exact statistics. I had a statistic for that as well. But yeah, the number of openings, the demand and supply is way too much imbalanced. Demand is way too much for data scientists. So if someone is targeting to make a career in data science, stay assured there are hundreds and thousands of openings for one person who is targeting for a data science job. But the problem here is, like I said, demand supply is being imbalanced. Supply is very less, demand is very much. So I think that should be a motivation for people who want to make a career in data science, that jobs are very much, you just need to acquire those skills and you can easily get the job. Opportunities are abundant, specifically for data. Since last 2 years after pandemic, the opportunities for data people have increased dramatically.
Good. That is encouraging, I think, for all our participants. Okay, then. Okay, so the next question is, what is the best way to apply for data science job, and where can we find job opportunities in this domain?
Sure. So there are actually now a lot of platforms there for applying for jobs, but my personal recommendation is LinkedIn. And why I say that is, first reason is you will be very much updated, and they have their own system of creating alerts for any kind of opening. So that amount of time that a person has to spend decreases. Like suppose I want to apply for a data scientist job for these 3 locations in India. Okay. So I don't need to go and check it out, okay, if there are any openings for a data science role and if it matches my experience or not. What I'll do is I'll go on LinkedIn, I'll create an alert. That alert will do one thing. I'll just specify, see, I have 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience, I'm a fresher or anything. I want to get alerts for data scientists. What are the designations you're looking for? What is the work experience you hold? And what are the locations of the job that you're looking for? And what will happen is it will email you all of the openings that are there. So you don't need to go and search it out. So it makes your work easier. So that is one thing. So yeah, talking about LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a very good platform which you can leverage to find opportunities for any kind of openings for data science role. That is one thing. Other thing is there is a platform called Naukri.com. That is also, like the name suggests, it's mainly focused on getting you jobs. So if you are into data science and you want to make you are searching for jobs, go and make a very good profile. When I say very good profile, it should be very much descriptive of what kind of skills you hold, what kind of experience you hold, what is the expectation in terms of pay that you are expecting from the companies. You can make a very good profile, and the number of chances of getting a call from Naukri.com, because it's a very famous and reputed website, is way too much. So people do leverage that platform as well to get data science jobs. So overall, LinkedIn and Naukri are 2 recommendations I have for people who are looking for data science job and other job opportunities.
Great. Can you also tell us difference between data engineer roles and data scientist roles?
Sure. So this is one of the most frequent questions people ask to me, because like I said, I was a data engineer, now I'm a data scientist. So I will try to explain this in a very layman term. And see, when you get the data is available in abundance, and even a normal Google search of us is the data that is generated for the company Google. So that is the amount of data that is getting generated. So what a data engineer does, the responsibility of a data engineer is to get the data and to transform it in that way, because the data that we are getting is not correct. It has a lot of data is not clean, data has a lot of duplicates, data has a lot of extra things which are not required. So I would say data engineering is the first part and data science is the second part of a ladder. So the workflow is in this way, that the data comes into a system, data engineer makes it in a proper format, that okay, this is the data, this is how we'll use it, this is how we'll transform it, this is how we'll make it in a proper format, and then we will give it to the data scientist person. So now when the data comes to a data scientist person, he doesn't have to worry about how do we pull the data. Like suppose some kind of data is generated in 1 week, some kind of that data is generated in 1 second. When we are the data that is generated from sensors, it is generated in 1 second, and some kind of data that is generated from some website or anything, we come in 1 week. So a data scientist person, he doesn't have to worry about how to bring the data, how to look about the system, what's the frequency of data, all of these things. A data scientist person, his job is get the data and make out useful information from it. And a data engineer work is to process the data into a good format so that that can be used by a data scientist. I think I tried to explain it in a very layman term, but I think it will be good for the audience.
Yes, I think it makes sense. Okay, so again, I will look at a few more questions. Another question asked here is what is the difference between applied data science and data science?
Oh, yeah, right. That is another one very good question. Because even I had this question because my designation here at Microsoft is data and applied scientist, not a data scientist. Actually, there is a very thin line of difference between an applied scientist and a data scientist. Data and applied scientist, if we talk in terms of Venn diagram, right? Data scientist is, I would say, the inner circle. The outer circle is data and applied scientist, and data scientist is a very specialized domain of a data and applied scientist. Applied scientist is doing the work in terms of applications. We are not only into research. Mainly data science work is considered to be work of a research. That is what data science is. But data and applied scientist is he or she will do the research and then use that research into real life applications. So yeah, that is that. It's a very slight difference, but yeah, that is the difference.
Okay. Okay, so then there are a few more questions. How to cope up with coding when you haven't done it before? And also, where can we learn these data science skills in a self-paced way?
Sure. So even if someone is not coming from a coding background, that it is not to worry at all. See, I talked about you need to learn a programming language. But one thing that I did not specify at that time is you don't need to be a hardcore coder. See, there's a difference between a software engineer and a data scientist. People sometimes mix these up. A software engineer is expected to be a very geeky person who is a very hardcore coder and all of these things. A data scientist person is not expected to be that because your main focus should be on data science part, not on your programming capability. So people shouldn't worry about the fact that they are not coming from a coding background. They can, if today is the day they are deciding that I want to learn coding, they can surely help and take them. There are a few very good websites. I will talk about them. First is Geeks for Geeks. This is something I would say the Bible of the people who are into IT field. So if I know nothing about any language and I want to learn from the very scratch, I will surely go in Geeks for Geeks and I'll start learning Python. So Python is also, like I said, Python is comparatively one of the easiest language one can learn because Python very closely resembles English language. So it is not something very typical to understand and learn being a coding language, but yeah, one can start. And Geeks for Geeks is one short website to learn anything. But if one wants to learn and start coding, Geeks for Geeks should be the first go-to place.
Great. Then few more questions. Should I acquire any certification in data science for job opportunities? I mean, is it mandatory to have a proof of some kind to be employed?
Actually, again, a very good question. And one of the most frequently asked question is, ma'am, should we go for certification? Should we go for boot camps? And should we go for any kind of thing? As per my experience of interviewing with companies and talking with people of my data science domain, I think certificates don't hold that much importance. Like the way they are sold, that get the certificate and you'll get the job. That's not how it happens, according to me, for sure. My suggestion is focus on skills rather than going for a certification. And if your intention is, see, there are two intentions. I want to get certified just to get a job. I think that won't help. But I want to get certified because while preparing for that certification, I will learn that particular thing in a very depth. So if that is your goal, go for it. Because at the end, you're learning something, and in your interviews or getting a job, the learnings and the skill that you have, at the end of the day, they will help you. If you're writing that, okay, I have these 5 certificates in your resume, the interviewer will expect you to know everything about that revolves around their certificate, that you know everything about that. And if you're not able to prove that, that certificate of no use. So learn. Maybe you can make projects, maybe you can do the certifications, but that is a later step. And the focus should not be to do the certifications to get job, but yeah, to learn things. Maybe if that is a focus, go for it. It's not mandatory. Answering to that part, it's not mandatory.
Yes. So then there are a few more questions. How to start career in data science if a person is from science background? Then there is another question where the participant has said that they are into clinical research and would like to know about data science. So can you specifically answer these questions?
So see, for people who are coming from bio and medical, as I would say, the background. So I already mentioned about the like versatile nature of data science. Data science is everywhere. So, and like I said, I that learn data science as a subject. So that will be common when you start your career into data science, right? It's not about you are from bio background, you are from automobile background, you are from mechanical background, you're from IT background. So that should hamper your learning in terms of data science. The path to learn data science is common. I just want to highlight this in bold. The path to learn data science is common if you're coming from any field. That won't change. At the end of the day, if I'm learning something, how will I use my learnings into that particular field I come from is where your paths get divided. I'm a mechanical person. I have learned data science. Now, how will I leverage that data science capabilities into mechanical, into automobile, into biomedical, all of these things? But yeah, initially the learning part, everything is common. So don't worry if you're coming from a different background, if you are non-IT, if you're non-technical, if you're a medical student, if you're a bio student, path is same. The roadmap is same. The skills are same. How will you use it in your particular field? That is the end result.
Great. There is another question, which is better, R or Python?
Yeah, I told you, right? Earlier, the R was more trending. But according to a recent research, Python is one of the most preferred language. Maybe I can add two reasons for that. From my personal perspective, Python is very easy to understand and learn because it resonates very easily with English language. Maybe that is one of the reasons people started learning Python more. And since people are learning Python more, companies are preferring Python more because it is easy to understand, easy to debug, and all of these things. So yeah, Python.
So there was another question whether I should go for ML and data science before learning coding languages, but I think we have already covered that.
Right. It should be coding language, then go for ML and DS.
Yes. And probably the last question of our session. Where do you see data science in the next 3 years in terms of jobs?
In terms of jobs in India, I think I quoted one statistic, right? Specifically in last 2 years, it's growing exponentially. And it is one of the field everyone is very confident about the growth. Many of the websites have already declared it's one of the highest paying job, it's the highest growing field. I'm not very sure about any other field, but this field is is the most sure shot in terms of the exponential growth. If you're looking in terms of package, if you're looking in terms of opportunities, every day every field is going into data science. So I think that should be most assuring reason to go into data science.
Good. And we know that you are also mentoring for Nyberman. So can you elaborate on that? What will be your role and what kind of services will you provide?
Sure. So yeah, I talked a lot about data science, how we go into data science, what will be the roadmap. But one thing that I clearly specified is it will not be the same for everyone. I come from a different background. I may have different problems. I may have different learning capabilities. So I started this consultation. So I'm part of the Nyberman as a data science consultant. So the services that I will be providing is first of all will be career guidance. I think, and why main reason is I think I can help from my experience because I got this help from someone else's experience. So why not use someone else's experience and expertise to make a career? So my first service would be to provide a career guidance. If someone think that they are stuck in their career, even if they're coming from any kind of domain and they want to go ahead and make a career in data engineering or data science, then what should that particular person doing to go there? So I can help that person with a very specific and unique suggestion for that person. So that is one thing, career guidance. Then second is one-on-one mentorship. So I told you about, okay, this is what your career is looking like. This is what it should look like. This is what you should do. But mentorship is something that where I can help you with, okay, this is where you're going wrong. This is how I can help you, or this is how I can motivate you. See, at the end of the day, I will not be learning from other person's end for sure. But I think there is a path. And if I can show you that path to follow, I think the person can go into that path and make a career. So career guidance, one-on-one mentorship. And then there is another thing called mock interviews. So I think if someone is, in order to become confident to appear for interviews, mock interviews are very, very important, specifically for data science people, because not much is available on internet. So that is another service I'll be providing to the people, that if you want a very good experience of what you will be facing in the interviews for any good companies, since I have interviewed with one of the top companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and all of these companies. So from my experience, I can help you create a virtual environment where I'll be your interviewer, and you can use that environment to understand where you are standing in an interview. So third is mock interview. And last is, we don't talk about that very often, but resume is very, very, very important thing while you're applying for a job. Any domain, any person, any job, resume is very important. So last assistance that I would be providing people is help in making resume, and how can we leverage good resume to get good jobs at good companies. So mainly these are kind of sessions in like a one-on-one session that I'll be providing. That okay, yeah, one thing is interview preparation. We know that we are going to appear for an interview, but interview preparation is also one thing mostly people lack. So that is also one thing. So career guidance, one-on-one mentorship, mock interview, resume review, and interview preparation. These are kind of few services that I'll be providing with the people who are aspiring to become a data scientist. And apart from all these things, there is one thing that I talked about. We know what to study, but where do we need to study that from? So this part, right, what resources you should follow. And I can give you the statistics. I have been consulting with more than 100 people, and I'm very happy to tell that at least 10 people have already got placed into good company. So I will also help people. I also help people in terms of resources, that you know what to learn, but this is where you need to go and learn. That will be different for different people. But yeah, a very personalized roadmap and resources I can help people with. So this is kind of an overall consultation that I think that I can provide people, which they can leverage to come and make a career in data science.
Thanks, Shailja. That is a very nice overview of your services. And I will ask participants to please check out our chat where we have already shared information about internships at Nyberman and how you can connect with Shailja. And please also visit our website to know all other kinds of opportunities and the other domains that you can explore using help of Nyberman. And with this, I think we are near closing our session. So I would really like to thank Shailja for her very interesting talk. And I hope all our participants gained the knowledge that they were looking for, and they will keep aspiring to acquire the skills that are needed to become a data scientist. So yes, thanks, Shailja.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nehal. And looking forward to meet you all folks if you are actually needing any kind of consultation for data science.
Thank you.
Thank you.